Hello and welcome to our Awards Experts webinar. Use awards to build your business or personal brand. Thanks for tuning in today. Let's start with a short introduction. I'm Christina Liessem, the founder of the awards consultancy Awards Experts. And yes, I probably will say the word awards quite a few times, but hey, we're here to win it. I've been in the awards industry for over 7 years now. So I started as an awards manager in the world's biggest advertising festival, and then became head of awards at Festival of Media Awards. And it's been awards ever since for me. I've seen thousands of submissions, implemented award-winning judging systems, launched national and international awards shows, given how to enter awards workshops around the world, and sat in countless jury rooms. So that's also where a lot of these tips and insights in this webinar come from, as I've been in a privileged position to witness the judging and process, and combined with actually creating shows and categories, means I have a unique 360-degree insights into the world of awards. With my consultancy, I help organizations to implement their own awards program and also work with agencies and individuals to help them submit and win awards. And now I'm here to share my experience and help people like you to start their own awards journey. So let's begin with a question. Did you know? Most award-winning individuals and businesses didn't wait to be nominated. They actually entered themselves into awards. In fact, you can't even win an Oscar if you don't submit your film for jury consideration. So it's really about taking your luck into your own hands. One word up front, awards mentioned in this webinar don't include pay-to-play awards. You know, the ones where they send you an email asking you to send them a lot of money to be included in the best leaders, best CEO list, because I don't believe in them and I don't work with them. For me, they're money-making schemes and shortcuts, so I don't offer working on these awards for clients, but only focus on reputable awards with judging processes in place. Well, let's get started. So why should you care about awards? Let's do an experiment to see if I can convince you. Imagine you're about to relaunch your website and you want to hunt for a web designer to help you create it. So you've been recommended to following two people. There's John, specialist website designer with 10 years experience, available for freelance work, or Alex, an award-winning freelance web designer available for website projects. So, who of the two would you choose? Give you a second to think about it. All right, if you would have picked Alex, you're not alone. In fact, they've done a market research, with 400 business decision makers, and 80% of them are influenced by awards when choosing a B2B product or service. And 76% agreed with a statement that awards are important for generating business or improving the value of a brand. So you can see awards can really help you further that business. But let's dig deeper in how and what ways awards really can help you. We've just seen they can help you generate new business and attract new clients. But they can also strengthen your reputation. And if you want to grow the headcount of your company, they also can help you attract new talents because you wouldn't want to work at an award-winning company. It's also a fantastic benchmark opportunity, and it's a way for you to get out of your silo and compare yourself to other businesses and service in your industry, but even outside your industry. They can open your path towards thought leadership, and if you use them right, they can be a great network opportunity. You can network with fellow entrants, fellow winners, or even the judges. And of course, you should tell everyone about your award successes, so they're a fantastic PR opportunity. For example, one of my clients got shortlisted, and on the back of that, she managed to get her local newspaper to write an article about her and her business and her nomination. And she's been interviewed in several podcasts and vlogs following from that, and really managed to build her personal brand off the back of the shortlist and then also her awards win. So awards will give you that much talk about social proof. But even more important, especially if you're a solopreneur, freelancer, small business owner, submitting into awards is a great exercise to reconfirm your beliefs about yourself and your business and your product and services, because it will help you focus on your achievements. So even if you should not be winning, it's proving to yourself that you think you can and you should be a winner. So it's a well-needed motivation from time to time. But how do awards compare to other marketing efforts? Especially with tight budget and limited time, you cannot do it all. I know that. So let's look at the difference between other marketing tactics and awards. So with marketing, you can tell people how you or your product solve their problems. You can do it social media or through ads. You can demonstrate to people your knowledge about a certain topic, and you can do it with blogs or content marketing. You can get other people to talk about you or your product and services, using PR, using influencers. On the other hand, with awards, you can actually demonstrate that you and your business are better than others. If you're on a short list with other great companies, if you're winning over other great companies, you can also show that you got the stamp of approval from experts, because a jury is surely a leader in their space, and it's even accepted for official use, such as visa and university application. So awards don't just give you the social proof, they can also give you the expert proof, and that's why you should be considering adding them to your toolkit. So now you know what awards can do for you, but let's look at what type of awards actually exist that you could consider entering. Starting off, I'm sure you all would have seen it, that's the list. 30 under 30, 40 under 40, great places to work, best workplaces, marketing leader, you name it. So for some of them, you might have to be nominated, but there's still plenty out there that you can just nominate yourself for. Then we have the individual awards, such as Best Businesswoman, Business Leader, Marketing Leader. So they focus on the individual person versus just a business, but quite often you need combined information for both, from your personal experience and from the business. If you have a product, there are product-based business awards, and there's a vast amount of opportunities for you for any kind of product, which you then could apply for and hopefully turn your product into an award-winning one. So, if it's design-wise, there are product designs and just design awards for any kind of product under the sun. For example, you have the health food awards, the technology, products, book awards, you name it. There's most likely an awards for everything. For big operations and businesses, there are what are called internal company awards, which you can enter by company function departments, having, for example, HR awards, customer service awards, compliance, sales, mental health in the workplace. So there's a lot out there. If you're a smaller business but exceed in one of the areas, it's still worth applying. They might even have a category for a smaller business specifically. So definitely do not discount them. And lastly, they're the external company awards, in which you submit your business as a whole. So there are holistic business awards that receive nomination from all kinds of industries, and then there are awards that just focus on a certain industry. So you can see Stevie's and the English Business Awards receive nominations from all different industries, whereas obviously the VA awards are only for virtual assistants. But of course, all these type of awards can also come in mixes. So you can have an award that receives nominations for businesses, product and services, and also individuals. And so there is plenty of awards. But what do you actually need to do to get started with your awards journey? First, let's start with the basics. Starting off, you need to know your goals. It's important to really be clear about what you want to achieve, as entering awards can cost time and money. So you don't want to start blindly, but rather define your awards goals. This will inform your choices and categories. Next, you really want to be clear about your budget. This is essential because that will be the limitation of how many shows you can actually enter. Award shows are also notoriously good in upselling and cross-selling, so you want to be clear how much money you have available for each show and what you want to achieve with it, and basically not end up spending it all on one show that might be good at cross-selling. Also, it's important to be aware of all possible awards costs that you might encounter. Most awards will charge you a fee per submission, per entry, but you might need help with your creation. A good copywriter can make a difference. And if you run for the trophy, you will incur even more fees, such as, buying a ticket for yourself to the awards show, maybe even two if you want someone to take with you to witness your big stage moment, getting a nice outfit, travel accommodation, but also up to hidden awards costs that might not be quite, visible in the first glance, such as paying for the trophies or paying for the rights to use the award show's logo in case of a win. So the costs all vary widely from show to show, but it pays off reading the fine print and budgeting accordingly. Lastly, know your timeline. So look at your goals and budget. The 30% is a question then would be, do you have a specific deadline by when you need to see results? If you have a tight deadline, you really need to have a close look in the timelines of the awards. Because usually awards have a longer lead time, and the timeline goes from like opening entries to closing entries, deadline extension, final closing of entries. That could be sort of 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, depending on a show. Then there's the judging period. Again, that could be another 2, 3, 4 weeks. There's a shortlist announcement, and then to the winner announcement, and the show will need to have, time to sell tickets for it, etc. So the whole process can take easily up to half a year, if not more. So that's why if you need to become award winning for a specific reason in a certain time frame, make sure to check what the shortlist and winner announcement dates are for the awards that you want to enter. So let's get to the important part. Once you know what awards you want to enter into, it's all about you and your business. While the exact requirements and questions asked by the show vary, more or less you will need to get a clear picture of the following. First, you. Who are you? What is your backstory? What is your education, your career journey? What drives you? Like, what challenges did you overcome? Just write everything on a blank piece of paper, as much as you can think of. That will be like your brainstorming session. Next up is your business. So what you do, real simple, so everyone can understand it, even if they're not from your industry. Why do you do it? Like, what drove you to it? Why did you decide to build the business? Why are you offering this product? Why are you offering these services? What is your purpose, your business purpose and mission? And how do you help others with your services and products? And then lastly, very importantly, your reasons for serving to win. So what challenges did you overcome with your business or for someone else? Like, what problems do you solve for people with your products, with your services? How are you better than your competition? And really think, ask your customers, why did they come back to you? But how are you better? Are you maybe more innovative? Maybe you are more sustainable. Maybe you have better customer service. So really dig down and try to find out what makes your business special and your services special and better than the competition. And lastly, how do you influence your surroundings? So that could be on a workplace level, your organization level, how do you treat your employees? What policies do you put in place to look after them? Your suppliers. How on an industry level do you do anything to help putting the industry forward? Do you organize meetups for the industry? Do you maybe mentor any young people from your industry? Or even on a community level, do you do anything? Do you do any volunteering? Do you donate constantly to charity? What is it? It might be a little bit just outside your normal kind of day-to-day job that you do, because that can make give you a little bit of extra in an application. So just think about everything. Ask someone else to what comes in mind when I think about you. Talk with your customers, suppliers, and really get brainstorming and write all of this down. Lastly, it's all about bringing your story to life within the allowed possibilities of each show. So you want to start colliding supporting information that can help you support your claims in making a written submission. And they can be, for example, testimonials, and think of it from a 360 point of view, ask different stakeholders, also look at where you're entering, what's most relevant. Reviews, customer reviews, product reviews, obviously, whatever works and you might have. Pictures, that could be high quality pictures of your product, but also could be if you're on service, some of your social media services, some screenshot of the work you've done for client. It could be you in action, delivering a workshop, whatever might just be also something that you mention in your written submission. Then some award shows do require numbers. They ask you to submit your accounts. They might ask you to submit revenue numbers, turnover, profit. So make sure if you're uncomfortable to check that before, because there's no point entering if everyone else gives that information and you don't. It's not all of the shows, but probably if you want to, quite often if it's a business awards, then they want to see that you actually, are true to the things you're claiming. And lastly, it could be PR clippings, if you've been interviewed, do you have any articles to mention or about your product, any interviews you've done, have you been on a podcast? Just make sure you collide everything together, because importantly, you don't want to overwhelm the juries with 1,000 extra things to go through. So make sure to really consider what has the most impact in supporting your claims and illustrating your stories, and be selective in choosing them. It's good to have it all together, but for the submission, obviously stick to the rules of the show, but then also be selective. So once we have all that information together about yourself, your business, your reasoning for winning, it's time to draft your entries. So here are some tips for you when you start writing your submission. First, tell a story. It's so important yet so underrated. The judges reading your entries are also just human and have to read through a lot of submission. So be the submission that actually entertains them. Keep it clear and concise, make it easy to understand, even for a non-native English speaker, in case you're entering international awards, and anyone also that might not be familiar with your industry and products. Don't use abbreviations that you haven't introduced, because nothing is worse than trying to make a judge try and Google to figure out what you're trying to say. You can use them, and sometimes they're helpful to get around some word limit issues, but just make sure you introduce in the beginning so everyone's on the same page and what you're trying to say. So you can break up your text. So sometimes the show format does it for you, but sometimes they also ask you just to submit 500 words paragraph. So again, think of it making the text very user-friendly for anyone who reads it. So for example, you could use bullet points where appropriate, or use strong headlines to break up longer paragraphs. It's really about back to thinking about the person has to read it and judge your submission. Avoid industry jargon. Judges might not be from your industry, so that's why it's important to keep it easy to understand for everyone. Just assume they're not familiar with it, unless you enter specific industry awards, then you might get away with it, but in general, just keep it simple and easy and straightforward. And lastly, proofread and check for typos. One typo won't make a difference in your submission, but you just want to make sure it's not riddled with typos and grammar mistakes, because you never know how a judge might react to it. And ultimately, give your entry to someone else to ensure it's easy to understand and your story flows nicely. If they can see that you should win an award for the amazing work you do, then that's the first step that a judge might see the same. So this gives you an insight of how you can start your awards journey. As you see, there's certainly a lot of time involved. Budget-wise, it will depend on what shows you choose. If you think that's too much work, but you still would like to win awards, we also offer one-on-one services. So from finding the most suitable shows and categories for you, to creating award submission for you with the help from our specialist copywriters, awards copywriters, to just adding in drafts and giving feedback, to managing the whole process, including submission for you. Reach out, I'm sure we can find a way to help you. So we're reaching the end of this presentation, so I want to end on this note. Awards are worth the investment. At a minimum, they're a great exercise to remind yourself how awesome you are and your business is, and to help you build confidence, because entering awards equals believing in yourself and your business. And now we've come to the end. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below and I'll come back to answer them. Thanks for being here, and don't hesitate to get in touch with any follow-up questions. I wish you best of luck for starting your awards journey, and I'm always here to help. Have a wonderful day.